All right, welcome to this week's edition of Two Rare Psychic Mediums. Well done. I am your host, Dee Hampton, my lovely co-host, Erica Silvers,
Hi.
and our special guest, Robbi Alexander, who we have been pleased to have on this show before. Welcome, Robbi.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So our topic today is going to be reincarnation.
Interesting topic. So, Erica, I know that you are definitely an expert on this. And Robbi, I'm not really familiar with your knowledge of this, so I am really excited and looking forward to this. I know I've spoken with lots of people who believe that they have been reincarnated. It resonates with them. Erica, I know for a fact that you have felt that many times.
Oh
Robbi,
yeah.
have you ever felt like you're reincarnated?
Absolutely.
You
I
have.
totally know I'm reincarnated. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, I don't. It does
Yes.
not resonate with me on any level. And I would love to hear your experiences on why you both believe that. So I'll start with you, Robbi. Why do you feel that you've been reincarnated and how many times, if you know?
143. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, wow.
No, no, the thing that really started me really asking if I was reincarnated, I think we talked about the last time I was here, was my dreams about Egypt and this longing that I was from Egypt and that I needed to go to Egypt. And I started having dreams of this life of me being in Egypt. So then I went and saw a medium and a couple other psychics, and without even being prompted, they would say, "Do you understand you've had a past life in Egypt?" And so that's kind of where it started, was understanding that. Now, when I started channeling deeper and being able to get into my own Akashic records, I was able to see, yes, you were reincarnated. You've been reincarnated. I've actually been reincarnated about 4 times here. And which, when I say here on Earth, that kind of gets complicated in reincarnation. So I'll just keep it there. You
Yeah.
know, 4 times here in different time periods. So there are times when I do get memories, flashes of what the heck was that. So I'll ask and they'll say, hey, that was from a past life. And so yeah, that's how I know that I'm reincarnated.
You know, Robbi, it's really interesting because I know I was one of the mediums that you spoke with, and I picked up on that as well. But the interesting thing is, for a split second, had a flash of me there with you. That was the only time I've ever had even an inkling of a past experience.
Right. And and I'm studying a technique to do more past life regression so people can understand their own past lives. I feel that you can get readings from people that do past life readings and say you came from here, which are great. I love those. But I think it's something different when you put somebody like under hypnosis
Yeah.
and they are telling you their past life and you're not telling them anything. They're actually reaching back and understanding it. So I actually had somebody do that to me once, and of course, Egypt came up. Um, I I feel that Egypt is just a huge life that I had that is built for so much here. But I think Dee, I agree with you. I think sometimes as readers, when we're reading past lives, we can actually touch on a soul that we've been connected with before and see things like that. So I don't doubt at all that you had a past life in Egypt as well, probably with me.
Yeah, because you were there. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I was there. And, I am studying right now Dolores Cannon's QHHT, which is quantum healing hypnosis technique. Is that what you're referring to, Robbi?
Kind of. QHHT. Dolores Cannon is fantastic. She's great. But the limitation there is that they're very strict about using other modalities with it. Like you can regress, but you can't heal. You
Mm,
can't use your Reiki or anything on it. And what I'm doing is actually called Beyond Quantum Healing. And
nice.
it was created by somebody who actually studied under Dolores Cannon and developed this way where you could actually use your healing modalities with the past life regression. So that when
Love
you
that.
get somebody back in a life and there is something there that they're really traumatized them or need to get over, not get over, but integrate into a current life, you can use your modalities and heal them a lot easier that way. Do the energy work and take care of that life. Because I think that's, and Erica, all the knowledge you have about past lives too, I think that one of the things that's so important that people understand about past lives is there are experiences, traumas, celebrations that happen there that carry over into your current life.
Right.
And sometimes they affect you. And there's those things like, I don't understand why I'm going through this. And you get a past life reading and understand, oh, this is why, because it's carried over from life to life with me.
Right.
So the thing about being able to step back and work on that is you fix the problem there, it fixes it here. So,
Erica, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
no,
Robbie.
that's it.
Erica, I was going to ask you, like, relating to what Robbie is saying there, like, what have been your experiences with past lives and why does it matter?
Well, so I was really young when I was maybe 3 or 4 years old talking about having diphtheria, and nobody in my family knew what the word diphtheria was. So I not like I heard it from anybody that I was around because they were laughing at me, and I remember, these things. I also have memories of being a Native American woman, and I don't have the memories of seeing myself. I just see myself walking with my people, walking along the water. I have a fear of airplanes in a weird kind of way because I wanted to be a pilot in this life, but I got in an airplane maybe 20 years ago and had a complete panic attack. No fear in this life of it and a desire to do it and had a panic attack. So I think that I must have been a pilot, must have crashed or whatever it was, but those are my thoughts. And I know there's more of the memories. I have a place I go to. The first time I went there, I felt like home. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm at home. Oh my gosh, I love it here. I don't want to leave here. And it was a place we regularly visited. I think I've been there 20 times now, and it's the same feeling every single time. And it's not just that it's a quaint little place and it's quiet because I live all around that anyway. It was just the fact that I think I lived there as a person in that little town a long time ago because it's a ghost town now. There isn't anything but a bunch of buildings, but I think that we live our lives and we have to keep living them. I talk about like when I do readings with people and they ask about death and what happens. And I'm like, well, yeah, people reincarnate because you have to learn lessons. And if you don't learn them, you don't get to climb the ladder. It's a, ladder up there is God at the very top, or source, spirit, universe, the very top. And we have to keep doing it over until we get the things right that we're supposed to get right. Lessons, healing, helping others, teaching, whatever it might be.
That sounds like a punishment. Like you didn't learn the lesson. So that's your karma. And I think sometimes that, you know, it's easy to look at, oh, I failed in that life. I didn't learn the lesson. I have to keep coming back. And do you find that people feel that way, or is that just my perception?
I think some people do, but on the other spectrum of that, I have met people that they came here for a specific purpose. They didn't come here with karma attached to them. They came here because they needed to teach, or there's something specific their soul decided to do. So it wasn't really a karma fixing type thing. They came here for a specific purpose. Now, where that comes into problems that I understand is once they understand and they're told, hey, your soul came here with no karma. Sometimes they take that as a blank check to just act however they want, right?
Uh,
Because they think my soul came here without karma, without understanding it may have came here with karma, but the way you're acting, you're developing karma, so you have to come back and fix that. So it's a very fine line between feeling punished and feeling like you're just trying to heal something from your soul. Like Erica said, I truly believe that that is our purpose as souls, right? We're all part of spirit of God. We're all a piece of them. And we come here to experience the earth and the world because they can't, right? And now the goal is to get your soul back to the level of divinity that you can rejoin source, right?
Right.
So sometimes it seems like a punishment and sometimes it seems like a blessing. It's just really how you look at it, quite
so how
honestly.
does this all fit in with the idea of will versus destiny? I mean, do you have the choice to come back if you've got stuff to fix, or is it your destiny to come back? Like, what's that balance? What's that line look like?
Erica, what do you feel about that? I know I have an
Yeah,
opinion. What do you feel about that?
yeah. So I think that if we're on Earth, we're a baby, and then we continue to grow and hopefully till you're an adult and way older. I don't think most people think about karma and reincarnation and what they need to do or what they should have done, which is unfortunate because I think everyone should be loving and caring and kind and peaceful while they're here on earth. And the people that don't do that, then they, call it a punishment if you want to, but I think that you have to sort of live a certain way. And whether it's your destiny, then you may have a destiny to do something. One thing I like to say to people is like, you can get up in the morning and have eggs, or you're going to have cereal with milk. And if you are lactose intolerant and you have the cereal with milk, well, your whole day is screwed. So you've made that choice. And as time goes on, you have your little destiny. But then if you make the wrong choice, your destiny changes.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I think your question was coming back, is it free will or destiny? And I think it's a mixture of both, right? In that your soul knows its ultimate purpose is to, reach this higher dimension or higher frequency so it can rejoin. So you kind of think, well, do I want to get it done fat quicker, or do I want to take forever to do it? So I mean, I've heard people that said, souls sometimes take forever to come back, and others say, well, I got there and tomorrow I'm going back because I have stuff to fix. So I think it just really depends on your soul. It's really tough though determining sometimes what is free will and what is destiny on that level. But I do believe everything we do on earth is free will. So,
You have a
take that
lot
as
of
you may.
people who say, I would never do this again. No way would I come back to this. And
I
then,
say it
and
every
then
day
you
of my
hear that
life.
you've done it 4 times.
Yes. So apparently, there's something that I need to fix. No, I've been told this time I came here voluntarily, that it was, I need to go down there and do something. I need to teach. I need to help people. I need to get involved in telling people what this is like. So, which I think a lot of people are right now, coming back, have come back to do this. So that's just my opinion on that.
So what happens in between all these lives of coming back? Or where do you go? What are you doing?
Erica?
Okay, so I'm not really sure about that, honestly. I know that there's a time when people die and then you have this life review, the quote unquote life review. Everybody sort of has that. And we are made to sort of look at how we made people feel, how we did things, were we right, were we wrong? And then, of course, we have to feel all the pain that we've put onto people during a lifetime. And then you have to look it over and then say, okay, I guess I'm going back. I didn't do good enough the first time, second time, fifth time, whatever it might be.
Well, that makes you just a slow learner, doesn't it?
It does. Something, there have been a lot, not a lot, but I've seen scientific studies actually talking about past lives and children, especially. I have seen so many videos and stories of children like coming up to their parents and saying, I came here after my plane crashed. And,
Wow.
the parents like, what are you talking about? And they look it up and they're like a World War II fighter pilot or fighter pilot that they can go back and research everything the child is saying. And yeah, this is exactly who this person was. So it's kind of interesting. There's actually I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Dorothy Eady. Um,
Yeah.
she was a lady that in her early life, I think she fell down some stairs and hit her head. And when they brought her back, because I think she may have died a little bit, but they brought her back and it was like she was a different person. She, as a child, she had like a different accent, and she just kept telling people, I need to go home. I don't like it here. I want to go home. And her parents couldn't figure out, what she was talking about. And they go to a museum and she sees uh, an Egyptian, whatever they call it, set up there. And she's like, that's it. This is what I'm talking about. That's my home. And so later in life, she actually went to Egypt and uh, I believe it was the Temple of Seti the First that she went to with archaeologists. And she was like, this is great, but where's the garden? And they're like, well, what are you talking about? The garden was right here. That's where it was. And so the archaeologists decided, well, let's check it out and started digging. And sure enough, they found the garden.
Oh,
had no clue that that's where it was. So she spent the rest of her life in Egypt helping archaeologists decode hieroglyphics, find different things around that, she knew where they were back when she was there. And she told the story that she knew that she had been a high priestess working with Seti the first and did one of the most unthinkable things that a virgin high priestess can do, and that was got pregnant by Seti. And she decided that the best way out of it was to end her life.
Oh,
And that was the end of her life there. But there are stories like that that I just find fascinating from people that have these great memories of past lives that are verified become true. So to me, it's hard to dismiss when you have that much. There are people that'll say, yeah, well, anybody can make up stories and look up historical facts, but I mean, it's hard to dismiss something when it's right there in your face.
I think
seems like
one of these times,
children.
oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. I think one of these days, science is going to connect with reincarnation and everything's going to meet because if you are reincarnated in the same families, your DNA has to line up somewhere along the way. And I think that's what's going to happen is how they're going to sort of say, oh, this person really was who they said they were. And I
Yeah.
think that's going to happen. That's just
Are
my
we
thought.
with the same soul families? And if that's the case, like, let's say the person I'm part of a soul family with, and we're all going to reincarnate together, but they're still living and I have died. I mean, I'm going down a really deep path here, but I mean, how does
Well,
that
I mean,
work?
one thing that I have to keep reminding myself when that comes from, and it's a really kind of a difficult concept to understand when you start talking about this,
Yeah,
is that time is not linear. We are living past, present, and future right now.
right, right.
So we could actually be reincarnated already and still living this life. That's just kind of something that I believe. And some people may look at me and go, this dude's crazy. But I had the question one time of somebody. We were talking about reincarnation. And I said, okay, let me get this straight. Because we were talking about a family member of mine that had passed. And they said, oh, they've already reincarnated. But earlier in the session, they were talking to the spirit. They were talking to that spirit
Yeah.
of that person. So I'm like, okay. I was like, so how can you be talking to a spirit of somebody that's already being reincarnated? And they looked at me like, I'm glad you asked this question. And the way they explained it to me really kind of hit home for me. Because, we're all energy. That's just what it is. When a soul, now, if this turns out, that it's bunk, whatever, but this is what I was told and what I believe is that when a soul enters a body, it creates an energetic imprint, like a spirit, it creates that spirit. So when the soul leaves, the soul is one thing, but then the spirit of the life that you had is a different thing because it's been created energetically. So your soul can go on and reincarnate like the next day, but your spirit, that energetic imprint of who you were, your personality, your looks in this life remains. And that's what can communicate through you to you through mediums or whatever. Again,
Wait, you're saying
mind
soul and
blown.
spirit are two different things?
They're two different, but they're the same. See, that's where it gets
Oh,
kind of interesting. It's like a
right.
soul that branches off that has trees. And so I took that and I was like, that makes sense to me.
I also have I used to sing a song. I was like 4 or 5 years old and I was singing a song and my aunts had me out. I remember being on the playground and singing it and they kept telling me to repeat, sing it again, sing it again. And I would sing it and I could tell you exactly how it goes now, but I won't sing it. But I found out many, many years when internet came out, I looked up that song and it was written in like 1910. So I was never taught that song, but I knew all the words. I knew all the
Yeah, I mean,
words.
it's so interesting the way things like that happen. Those memories just kind of slip into you. I mean, like talking about Egypt, one of the clearest memories I have of a past life is I was meditating one night and I saw myself in this procession going to one of the pyramids. And just clear as day, what was I going for? And then going into the pyramid and being laid down in the queen's chamber in that sarcophagus and doing some sort of initiation. So, I mean, it was really so I understand those type of thoughts and dreams and memories that come back.
Yeah. And it's not just that it's like a dream or I thought of it, but it's actual feeling behind it too. That's
Yes.
what that kind of puts everything in more perspective, I think, when you have, images that you've never seen a movie, you haven't been there, but you have all these. It's just kind of cool, I think. It's all cool. Some people don't
Yeah.
understand it, so.
Yeah.
Me. But I'm glad this is why we're having this conversation. And I think I've asked Robbi once, like, I don't resonate with this on any level. And I was like, why? And I think your answer to me was you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
But then I'm
You're
like,
not,
everybody
sometimes you're
else
just not
feels it.
supposed to. Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't understand why I can't know.
Well, I mean, and the way to look at it is maybe there's nothing in your past lives that you need to bring over to this life.
I was pretty flawless.
Yeah, you're pretty on point. So,
Pretty flawless, yeah.
and some people why they have a hard time believing in past lives because they don't feel it themselves. And that's okay. Not everybody is supposed to remember.
What if it's your
Um,
first time here? Is that
very well could be.
possible?
Yeah, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me. So what are we supposed to do if we can't really remember it? Why does it matter? So what I mean by that is like, it's all I can do to get through this life, let alone what happened in 15 lives ago. So what's the point of remembering it or not remembering it? Like, what are your thoughts?
I think it's just having the faith that there is something other than what we're living in, this reality that we're living in, and that you're a good person and you are very kind and caring. And I already said it, all these things, loving. And if you're not, well, then you just have to live it again. Whether you remember it or not, I don't think that even really matters.
Yeah. And quite honestly, I think it's kind of a double-edged sword there, right? With the question you asked, Edie, is, why is it important to know about them? And some people it's not. Just like we discussed with you. Maybe it's not important for you to know about it. But, there have been energy sessions that I've done working on people that I've connected to a past life. And
Hmm.
I can see, the reason that you are so controlling is because you had no control in a past life and you are
Ah,
overcompensating.
that makes
So
sense.
let's go back to this past life and kind of help it understand it doesn't need to be in control. So that in this life, that connection can kind of loosen that control for you and you can start to calm down a little bit. You can start having been able to enjoy life rather than try to control it. So I think that's one of the reasons why some people really want to know what their past lives are about. Or like in my case, I had a past life in Egypt. I've had one in Atlantis. And I think the reasons that they've let me know this is because there is information in those lives that I need to remember and bring forward to this one so I can integrate it into what I'm doing and help people further and deeper and better and teach them. So I think it's just kind of one, what do you need to learn from them to pass on? Or two, it's good. Just you don't need to know what happened. Just try to figure out
Yeah.
this time how to make it better, right?
You never hear about somebody remembering their life in a cornfield in Nebraska. Why is that? It's
Well,
always the exotic places.
actually, I read people like that, and I think you only hear about those because that's what people want to talk about, right? I was here, I was there, I was doing this, it was flashy. But I read somebody the other day actually that was died during the Dust Bowl, because she was starved. They starved. Her and her whole family starved,
Mm,
and she was the last one of her family to die. She was a child back then, like 8 or 9 years old, and watched all of her family die, and she was the last one. And that's not flashy. It's not
no,
fantastic,
yeah,
but it helped her understand why she feels so guilty about not people pleasing because there's nothing she could have done to save her family, and in this life she wants to do everything she can to save as many people as she can. So
uh,
that's kind of, I think, where that comes in. Erica, do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's all fascinating and, we'll never know every single answer, but we're just on the way. We're on the way. Where Dee's going to be stuck back in the last century with her thoughts and beliefs.
not doing it again. If I can get it right, I'm not doing it again. Well, is there anything else you guys would love to add to this amazing and fascinating topic?
How about you, Robbie? Anything?
The main thing that I would say is that no matter whether you remember your past lives or not, no matter whether you find out about them or not, the most important thing to remember is don't get lost in them. Remember, you are living now,
Yeah,
you are a human now, and you were sent here to enjoy the wonderful things that humans do. So don't get caught up in I don't have a past life or I remember a past life great and I wish I was back there and all that.
yeah,
Don't do that. Just remember you are a human trying to live through whatever we're going through now and try to enjoy the most of it and just don't get caught up in it.
great advice. What about you, Erica? What would you say?
I think that we're all learning about all kinds of different things, reincarnation and spiritually, and all the religions have some sort of reincarnation, I think, in them. Most religions anyway, to have some sort of form of, whether they were a bug, whether they were a dog, whether they're now a human. I don't think that if you were a dog or a flower, I don't think that once you're a human that you regress back into being a bug again. I just feel like once you're human, you just continue your journey closer up the ladder.
I would agree.
Well, thank you, everybody. We've loved spending the time with you. Until next week, we are two rare psychic mediums. Well done. See you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.